them kuffar, but believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in some way. They will say inshallah, and that will be the day they will bust through. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that when the day comes that they will bust through, and you look at that mountain that held them back for all those centuries, they will come down that mountain in such a great number that it will seem that it is a torrent of water in bodies coming. You will not see land. You will not see the mountain slope. You will only see Ya'juj and Ma'juj coming down the edge and coming down the slope of that mountain until people will flee from them in all different directions. Regarding Ya'juj and Ma'juj and exactly who they are and what is their identity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Many people have mentioned that they are certain nations. Some people have even said that they are the communists. Some people said that they are the Tatars. Some people say that they're the Republican Party. Some people say that they're the Tea Party. If that's the case, if they are the Tea Party, then Qiyamah is really close. We need to count our blessings right now. Anyway, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best who they are. Whether they are the Tea Party or not. Anyway, but whoever has said that they are this and they are that, time proved them wrong. But the day came that the Tatars became Muslims, the majority of them. The day came that communism fell. People from day one, from the first day that Muslims started writing history, had their theories on who Ya'juj and Ma'juj are. The reality is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. There are many things that are hidden from our eyes. And the safest thing is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best where they are, whether they are actually a nation right now that is walking the surface of the earth, and the wall that is holding them back has already fell down, and for some reason they are not, enforcing their will upon mankind, and they're waiting for a specific time. They are kept back behind an unseen curtain. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that best. But the safest thing to say is that when the time comes that they will make themselves evident. Some people say that Ya'juj and Ma'juj are not actually a nation, but refer to anarchists, people who are uncouth, people who are wild in every way. That a time will come before Qiyamah that anarchy will assume, their will, or those anarchists will assume their will upon the people of the earth, and people of civilization will not be able to do anything about it. They will be overrun by barbarity from all its lines. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. These are just the theories, and these are just the statements. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where that wall is situated and located, He knows that best as well. The focus of our topic, concluding remarks, is that who Dhul Qarnayn was. The reason why we discuss him is because it is a very least spoken about topic on normal circumstances. When you go to a masjid, highly unlikely that the khatib on a Jummah is ever going to devote the entire khutbatul Jummah, to Dhul Qarnayn and who he was. You're going to have to hear it from other sources or read it from yourself. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has got it there for a reason. It's in Surah Kahf, comprising over a page inside Surah Kahf for a reason. It must be there, obviously it's there for an important reason. And its reason is to educate people that no matter what is your position, what is your authority inside this world, your primary focus is to spread the message of Allah. And like how Dhul Qarnayn attributed whatever he did to the mercy of Allah, so that people will be magnetized and polarized to the oneness of Allah. That is your duty, and that is your job as a Muslim individual, and that is your ultimate achievement, where people recognize who their Allah is. My time is up. Do we have any room for Q&A?
Yeah, there's a question.
Yes. Brother had a question?
Yes. Are they human, correct?
Yes. Ya'juj and Ma'juj are human. They are not, jinn. They are not something else. They are human. And regarding the description of Ya'juj and Ma'juj, they have always been described as human beings. They are likely to go to Jannah or Jahannam, depending if they were good or bad, as individuals. But yes, they are human. Yes.
This means that they have like a source of food, like
Yes. Yes. Yes, that's the thing. They have an unlimited source of food. Actually, they are farmers by profession. In one narration, we find that Ya'juj and Ma'juj, when they used to raid the people, they used to bring axes and hoes and tools to come and mess with the people to show that these people had access to tools. So they are probably a farming community or a hunting community wherever they are. But like how human beings have needs, they have needs as well, and in some way that they supply their needs. Yes. Go ahead.
Any questions on the next part? We'll take it first. Did the Junaid travel with an army to be able to imprison Ya'juj Ma'juj, or did he do it alone?
Yes, Zulqarnain traveled with an army, and he was not an individual person. He traveled with an entourage, and certain signs inside the ayat indicate that he was actually traveling with an army, wherein he says what Allah gives us is good. It indicates sort of like that he's traveling with an entourage or an army, so he was not alone. He did seek the assistance of those people at the time of the construction of the wall.
Another question, so can you comment about the youth of the cave that were mentioned?
Okay, the youth of the cave, no doubt, that's a whole topic all on its own. But just because somebody has asked, basically there were these group of youngsters, group of young men who, before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was even born, they saw the idolatry ways or the polytheistic ways of their people. They shunned the ways of their people, and they were discovered. The king of the time sought to punish them, gave them a chance that we're giving you time to think about it. In that period of respite, they managed to escape. Exactly how many there were, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not specific about their number. There are a number of numbers that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about, but is not specific on any one. They were accompanied by their dog. His name was not Boomer by any chance. They were accompanied by their dog, who came and he accompanied them. And or Scooby. Boomer is from my time. Scooby is from your time. So his name was not Scooby. He was accompanied by their dog. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even speaks about this dog. وَكَلْبٌ بَاسِمٌ ذِرَاعِهِ بِالْوَسِيلِ. That the dog was right at the edge of that cave, sort of like guarding over these people or providing companionship with them. They slept inside the cave for 313 years, and eventually they were awoken. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala woke them up at a particular time. The king of that time, wherein they woke up, was a good, pious Muslim. And he was faced with an issue that the people of his time, a large number of them, were claiming that there is no such a thing as life after death. We'll believe everything else as Muslims, but no life after death. Once you die, that's it, you're food for the worms. So this king, trying to combat that ideology that was spreading in his community, he took a vow to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that unless you help me, I'm not going to dress in anything except the simplest of clothes, and I'm going to sit on a pile of ash, which was a system of ibadah and worship at the time of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. Not anymore, not now, but in the time of the previous prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala awoke those boys in the cave. And when they came down, and they were able to describe life 313 years ago, and when it was now established that they slept for so long, that fitna or that ideology, it wilted away, because they were like living examples that we slept for so long and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala woke us up. So what's there if we die and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wakes a person up? That was like the edge or the beginning of the end of that particular ideology. Like how in Angry Birds, when you have to hit the stone, sometimes you have to hit the stone right at the bottom for all those pigs to fall down. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, Angry Birds, that's a game. Anyway, all of them to fall down. Sort of like those guys were like that stone or that first bird that came, that knocked down that entire ideology. So that was their purpose, and this was an overview of who they were. But read Surah Kahf, there's much more details than what I said. Yes, go ahead.
What are some benefits?
The benefit, of course, of reading Surah Kahf, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever recites Surah Kahf on Jumu'ah on Friday, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will save that person from the fitna of the last time, especially the fitna of Dajjal. The hadith of Tirmidhi, that whoever recites Surah Kahf, the previous week's minor sins of that person will be forgiven. In one narration of Muslim Sharif, Rasulullah tells the companion that whoever recites awakhir, and in one narration the beginning of Surah Kahf, whenever he sees Dajjal, will be saved from the fitna of that Antichrist of Dajjal. These are the three important virtues of Surah Kahf that comes to mind right now, and these are the three most authentic ones. Yes, another question?
Is there any significance of the story of Zulkarnain being mentioned after the story of Musa and
Musa and Khidr alayhi salatu wasalam. Well, when it comes to the actual significance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not speak of the reason why Dhul-Qarnayn's incident is after Musa and Khidr and not after the boys inside the cave. But one analyzing these two stories or these two incidents may draw some similarity in the sense that Musa and Khidr alayhi salatu wasalam, they were traveling, like Dhul-Qarnayn, traveling. But the first group of people, Musa and Khidr, were traveling as simple people, simple individuals, performing tasks that were not, on a macro level, just going from village to village, people to person, individual to individual, doing the work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no doubt. And immediately after them is another traveler, Zulqarnain, but he is doing things on a grand level. He is traveling to the edges and the ends of the earth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's narration or coupling the two stories together, the theme of travel for the sake of Allah is the same, but the type of travel and the people involved are different. Yes, let's go through these questions as quick as possible.
And since Isa alayhi salam killed Dajjal and also made dua to kill Yajuj Majuj, did Dajjal and Yajuj Majuj roam the earth and work at the same time?
No. Yajuj Majuj and Dajjal are at two separate times. First is Dajjal, he is killed by Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, and when he is slain and killed, done away with, then Yajuj and Majuj make their appearance. So these two menaces don't bother the earth at the same time. For had they been out at the same time, then that would have been like the brothers horrible and terrible working together. I mean, one is bad enough. One of those guys or one of those communities are bad enough. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not unleash both of those fitnas or menaces on the earth at the same time.
Sayyidina Isa killed both, right?
Killed Dajjal and made dua for the killing of Yajuj and Majuj. So he saw the destruction of both and was influential in the destruction of both.
Is your lifetime is only 40 days?
Dajjal's lifetime is longer, but his period of work, his period of work is 40. And inshallah, when we discuss the topic of Dajjal more in detail at the next bonfire, please do join us at the next bonfire. We'll talk Dajjal next time.